Okay.
Something like that. Like if you give a statement and file a motion to suppress a statement and you lose that, then you send the appeal of your motion to suppress the statement.
Okay.
Okay. I I understand civil disobedience. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand why you did it. And I can understand you even doing it. But what it comes right down to is that you walked in with a gun and attempted to rob these people, and they don't like that. And you have, from lack of a better word, made a nuisance out of yourself in the court system, and they don't like that. And I can see them getting pretty pissed at you and trying to make an example out of you. And I don't want you to have to go to prison for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I'll do whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Would I have a legitimate shot at probation?
I can probably get you probation. You'd have to plead guilty, waive all your rights, waive your right to appeal, and basically be on probation. And then the hard thing about probation is you got to do what they tell you to do. And you're not going to like doing the stuff they tell you to do.
Like what?
Like reporting and not leaving the county without permission.
I'm already on bond probation.
It's the same as bond probation, just a little more in depth.
Yeah, with the community service and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then do you suppose that they'd have me take some anger management classes or something?
I'm sure they would have you go to counseling, whatever they think you needed, which probably include anger management and probably drugs and alcohol counseling. Stuff like that.
That's kind of silly, being that I don't use drugs.
Yeah, they don't really know that. They make everybody do drug and alcohol counseling.
Okay.
I'm not saying I could get. I'm not saying I could get you. I'm not guaranteeing I can get you probation. What did they charge you with? Aggravated robbery?
Yes, sir.
With a deadly weapon?
Well, it's just, as far as I know, it's just aggravated robbery. And then they also charged me with robbery, which I feel like is a form of double jeopardy.
Well, they're lesser included. Yeah, by shooting him with a BB gun and used or exhibited a deadly weapon, namely a firearm. Which that's 5 to 99, and then count 2 is robbery, 2 to 20. I could probably get you some if you want some probation, I could probably get you some probation. Do you work?
Yeah.
What kind of work do you do?
I sell houses.
I could probably get you some probation.
That would be deferred adjudicated probation.
I could probably get you some deferred. So if you complete it, you wouldn't have a conviction on your record.
Okay.
I could probably get that done.
What do you know about this prosecutor?
He's a nice guy. I like him.
Do you know his name?
He's a fair guy.
Okay.
It's Alan Lucas, right?
Yes, sir. Or Lucas Allen, I'm not sure.
Alan Lucas.
All right. And then I am eligible for probation, correct? Because I don't have a criminal record?
You are eligible for probation, and it is conceivable that we could go to trial, and if you're convicted, ask the jury for probation, and it's conceivable the jury could give it to you.
Yeah, but that's a giant risk.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because the alternative's 5 to 99. What do you think?
You need to do it.
Yeah, you need to think about it and figure out what you want to do, because this is serious. They're not messing around, and they're not going to give up.
Now, when you say that I've been a nuisance to the court, what does that mean?
Filing the pro se motions and suing the judge and complaining about your lawyer, all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
Probably suing the judge is probably the big one.
Okay.
That's probably not a smart thing to do.
Okay.
But again, I'll do whatever you want to do.
All right. We'll talk about it.
Let me know on the 22nd.
Yeah, I'll let you know on or before the 22nd. Do you have a card with an email or something on it? Would you like me to email the motions that I've turned in thus
No, I
far?
finally found them. I just didn't have all the. It only showed 100 at a time. And
Okay. And then would you like to review the amendment to the motion to dismiss due to fraud on the court? And
not really.
see if it's legit?
It's not legit
How come?
because it doesn't. It's not that it is a fraud on the court, but it's not the type of fraud on the court that's going to get you dismissal. Even if everything even if everything you say is true, it's not enough to get you dismissal.
So they can have a fraud there and not affecting them, but affecting you.
Yeah, so they can commit fraud, but I can't. That's what it means. Yeah.
It's so easy. I guess what I'm trying to say is, even if everything you say is true, it's not enough to get you dismissed.
Uh-huh. What about in an appellate court?
No, it's not enough to get you dismissed.
Would you agree that you were appointed because I could have had the charges dismissed due to ineffective assistance of counsel?
No, you're not going to get him dismissed because of ineffective assistance of counsel. It's not going to happen.
But I could on appellate court.
Well, you could if you're convicted. After you're convicted and you file a writ of habeas corpus and you're claiming ineffective assistance of counsel, it is conceivable that you could get a new trial.
Okay.
It's not very likely. It's not likely at all, but it is conceivable. There is a set of circumstances under which that would happen.
Okay. So I'd get a new trial, but I wouldn't have the charges dismissed.
Right.
Okay. What are the other provisions of probation? Like, what happens if I get a speeding ticket? Are they going to hold me into jail?
No, basically, you get all the speeding tickets you want. It's anything that you would get arrested for would violate it.
Yeah, but that's not a problem because I don't normally get arrested. You know, or do things to get arrested. I mean, I went out to get arrested that day. Are you familiar with the protest that took place in Oregon at the Malheur Wildlife Center?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the subsequent arrests of innocent people. I mean, that pissed me off, John,
Why didn't you go there?
because I didn't feel like I had to. I felt like I could expose injustice right here in Texas. The fact that those companies are allowed to operate here is repugnant to any idea of justice, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Could we get a jury to agree with that?
Even if it's yeah, well, yeah, sure, we could get a jury to agree that it's repugnant and they violated the law, but that's not going to get you out of committing robbery. It's not a defense to committing robbery.
It wasn't a robbery, it was a protest.
You walk in there with a gun and you say, "Do this," that's a robbery.
Okay? All right. Well, I see it as what you said earlier is civil. What did you say? Civil.
Civil disobedience.
Disobedience. Yeah.
When you go in, if you have a gun,
And that's not really civil.
that's not really civil disobedience.
Yeah.
Picketing in front of there saying y'all violate everybody's rights, that's civil disobedience.
But it doesn't break any laws.
Don't break any law.
But civil disobedience usually breaks the law.
Well, not really.
Usually. Interchangeably in the courts. What about motion to dismiss due to lack of jurisdiction or lack of evidence proving jurisdiction?
Tell me how you get to that.
Can the prosecutor prove that the court has jurisdiction over me?
Well, that would come into effect if we go to trial. Part of going to trial is them proving.
And how do they prove that?
They would prove that it happened in Tarrant County, Texas,
Okay.
and that's jurisdiction over you.
That doesn't make any sense to me that automatically affords them jurisdiction over me.
Why?
Because I didn't sign any contract with them that says that because I live in Tarrant County, Texas, that their laws apply to me.
You don't have to sign a contract with them.
They just assume jurisdiction without evidence.
Well, you don't have to sign a contract giving them jurisdiction.
So what gives them jurisdiction?
The fact that you're in Tarrant County, Texas, and you violated the law. You're a person in Texas and you violated the law, they claim.
But they also claim that I'm innocent until proven guilty.
That's correct.
So what piece of evidence gives them jurisdiction in that court over me? Just because I'm in Tarrant County doesn't mean that their laws apply to me.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't.
Why not?
Because if I was active duty military, then they would not have jurisdiction over me.
Are you active duty military?
I'm not active duty military, but I'm telling you that there are circumstances wherein they do not have jurisdiction over certain persons. Correct?
There are certain circumstances.
All right. Can they prove that I'm not a international diplomat?
They don't have to prove that. That would be up to us to prove.
But the burden of proof is on the prosecutor as far as jurisdiction is concerned.
Yes.
So what evidence do they have that their laws apply to me simply because I'm in Tarrant County? Because there are people that they don't have jurisdiction over.
If they did not have jurisdiction over you, we would have to prove it.
Okay.
It doesn't sound like you believe me.
Well, I just don't know of any evidence that they have that they can use to prove that they have jurisdiction over me, because I haven't signed any contracts with them. I'm not an employee of the state.
You don't have to be. The mere fact that you're in Tarrant County, Texas, gives them jurisdiction over you unless we prove otherwise.
But I thought the burden of proof was on the prosecutor.
And they met the burden of proof by placing you in Tarrant County, Texas.
Okay. Any other questions, Marcia? Okay. So the court wants to expedite this case as quickly as possible.
Well, not just this case, they want to expedite all cases.
Yeah, but specifically my case because I've been a nuisance to them by.
That's not what I said.
Okay.
They want to expedite all cases.
Yes, sir.
They know, they know that, first of all, they know if you want to go to trial, I'll go to trial with you because I'm not afraid to go to trial. And if you want to plead guilty, we'll get that done too. The court that you're in, first, does not have a backup of cases.
Right.
Therefore, we will go in that. If you want to go to trial, we will go quickly.
Right. Right. Man.
I mean, I don't. What's the right way to say this? To them, you don't. You are not, they haven't singled you out to do anything because you did or did not do something to the court or to the judge. They're not getting back at you or retaliating for something that you did or didn't do because, frankly, they don't really care.
Okay.
This is a case, and they just want the case over.
Okay.
One way or the other.
Okay. So I'm just like everybody else in the
Just
machine.
like everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you need additional information from me?
Do we know how to get a hold of you?
Do you have my email address as well, Molly?
I think I saw it on something to go with.
It's real deals, plural, 817 at rocketmail.com. Yeah, and then you're welcome to call me anytime. Also. And I've looked at your background, Mr. Stickles, and it's very impressive. I mean, I really couldn't hope for a better attorney.
Thanks.
Worth every penny. I stand by my belief that they appointed you so that I couldn't make the defense of ineffective assistance of
No,
counsel.
that's just not true.
Okay. Okay. Anything else, Marcia?
No, I need to process everything.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, Mr.
No
Stickles.
problem. Just let me know what you want to do.
Yes, sir.